the Ridda was when Abu Bakr became the Khalifa, radiallahu anhu, and there was a huge group of people, they went back to Kufr after becoming Muslim. So Abu Bakr, radiallahu anhu, he said, we're going to go fight them, even though they had another war to fight. So everyone was, generally speaking, against going to having two wars at the same time, because it might weaken them. But Abu Bakr, radiallahu anhu, as the man he was, he stood his ground, and then he was successful in both of that. And then the Mihna of Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah ta'ala, and some scholars say, if it hadn't been for him, rahimahullah, then khalas, all of the people would believe that the Qur'an is makhluk, the Qur'an is created. Because he was literally the last and only one. Like, imagine if you're in the whole Muslim empire is in one location, and all the scholars are saying one thing. They're saying, oh, the Qur'an is created. Then obviously everyone is going to believe that, especially the layman, because of the scholar. That was the Mihna of Imam Ahmad. So we believe that the Qur'an is the words of Allah. He spoke it, and it is munazzal. He sent it down to us, to Jibreel and the Prophet ﷺ. And also it's ghayru makhluk, it's uncreated, it's a speech of Allah. And minhu bada, it started from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like the chain starts from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa ilayhi ya'ud, and one day it's gonna return back to him. And they say it's gonna ilayhi ya'ud min as-sudur wa sutur. It's gonna return back to him. It's gonna be taken out of people's sudur, their chest, like their memory, and also the sutur, from the books, from what it's written on, the masahif. So that's basically the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And speech of Allah doesn't it's not limited to the Quran. Allah, he speaks whenever he wants, however he wants, in any way, shape, or form that he wants. And we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to speak to us in Jannah, speak to us in Yawm al-Qiyamah. So the Quran is not limited to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech. No.
Jazakallah khair. Minhum man kallam Allah. Among them, the prophets are those to whom Allah spoke. وَلَمَّا جَاءَ مُوسَى لِمِيقَاتِنَا وَكَلَّمَهُ رَبُّهُ. When Moses came at our appointed time, his Lord spoke to him. وَنَادَيْنَاهُ مِنْ جَانِبِ الطُّورِ الْأَيْمَنِ وَقَرَّبْنَاهُ نَجِيًّا. We called him from the right side of the mountain, and we approached him privately. وَإِذْ نَادَى رَبُّكَ مُوسَىٰ أَنِ ائْتِ الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. When your Lord came to Moses, go to the oppressive people. وَنَادَاهُمَا رَبُّهُمَا أَلَمْ أَنْهَكُمَا عَنْ تِلْكُمَا الشَّجَرَةِ. Their Lord called them both, saying, did I not forbid you from the tree? وَيَوْمَ يُنَادِيهِمْ فَيَقُولُ مَاذَا أَجَبْتُمُ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. The day he will call them, saying, what was your answer to the messengers? وَإِنْ أَحَدٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ اسْتَجَارَكَ فَأَجِرْهُ حَتَّى يَسْمَعَ كَلَامَ اللَّهِ. If one of the idolaters seek your protection, then grant him protection that he might hear the word of Allah. وَقَدْ كَانَ فَرِيقٌ مِّنْهُمْ يَسْمَعُونَ كَلَامَ اللَّهِ ثُمَّ يُحَرِّفُونَهُ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا عَقَلُوهُ وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ. A sect among them had heard the word of Allah, then they distorted it after understanding it while they knew. يريدون أن يبدلوا كلام الله قل لن تتبعونا كذلكم قال الله من قبل. They desire to replace the word of Allah. Say, never will you follow us. Such did Allah say before. واتل ما أوحي إليك من كتاب ربك لا مبدل لكلماته. Recite what has been revealed to you from the book of your Lord. There is none to change his words. إن هذا القرآن يقص على بني إسرائيل أكثر الذي هم فيه يختلفون. Verily, this Quran narrates to the children of Israel most of that over which they disagree.
No. إثبات أن القرآن منزل من الله تعالى. So the next section, affirming that the Quran was revealed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is, as we've seen, the ulu of Allah, the Mu'allif rahimahullah, he used evidence of, like for example, inni rafi'uka ilayya. Indeed, I will raise you up to me. He used that as evidence that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's above his throne, he's high above. And he also used ayat like ilayhi yas'adu al-kalim at-tayyib. To him is risen the good word, the good deeds. All these actions of stuff, of things being risen up above to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here is we have the opposite, which is also the same evidence, but the opposite. Kitabun anzalnahu, because this Quran is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is two evidence, two which is the dal, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's one, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then also he's sending it down to earth to us. Because nuzul obviously it means from up to down. And لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن, have we sent down this Quran على جبل لرأيته. So these are all, when you read these two ayat, remember that it's dalil that it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's coming from above to below. تفضل.
Affirming the Quran was revealed from Allah the Exalted. وقوله تعالى وهذا كتاب أنزلناه مبارك. And his saying, this is a blessed book which we have revealed. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. If we had sent this Quran down upon a mountain, you would have seen it humbled and rendered asunder from the fear of Allah. وإذا بدلنا آية مكان آية والله أعلم بما ينزل قالوا إنما أنت مفتر بل أكثرهم لا يعلمون. قل نزله روح القدس من ربك بالحق ليثبت الذين آمنوا وهدى وبشرى للمسلمين. ولقد نعلم أنهم يقولون إنما يعلمه بشر لسان الذي يلحدون إليه أعجمي وهذا لسان عربي مبين.
نعم. You can continue إثبات رؤية.
All right. Affirming the looking of the believers at their Lord on the day of resurrection. وقوله تعالى وجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة. And his saying, faces on that day will be radiant, looking at their Lord. على الأرائك ينظرون. On adorned couches looking. للذين أحسنوا الحسنى وزيادة. For those who do good is the best and even more. لهم ما يشاءون فيها ولدينا مزيد. They will have whatever they desire therein, and with us is even more. There is much on this topic in the Book of Allah. Whoever contemplates over the Quran.
Let me just do the ru'yah first. These are all adilla of these ayat, adilla that we're going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and a lot of a lot of the Ahl al-Bid'ah from the past. Even there's actually a famous book called Al-Hayda by Abdul Aziz al-Kinani, rahimahullah ta'ala. He was arguing with some of the Mu'tazila, and then it was about Kalam of Allah. It's a very beautiful book. It's basically a munadara, a debate between him and Bishr al-Marisi in front of the Khalifa about these topics, basically. This topic is not new. It's not just from the Ashara. Actually, it started aslan from the Jahmiyyah, and we'll talk about that later on, from the Jahmiyyah, the Mu'tazila, and then the Ashara. They basically, did put their own twist on it. But a lot of these debates, this is very old. This is nothing new. There's books from the Salaf about these kind of stuff. But shahid is this the believers are going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't believe that we're going to see it because, and they use certain ayat, and these ayat are very clear, muhkamat, and then they use other ayat, mutashabihat. Like, for example, they say when Allah spoke to Musa, "Lan tarani," you won't see me, and then they also say, لا يدركه الأبصار لا تدركه الأبصار. Yeah. So لن تراني, you will never be able to see me, and you can't fathom the sight. Eyesight cannot fathom see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then that's the adillah that we're not going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Ahlus-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we believe that there's no contradiction between what they use as dalil and what we just read. What we say as Ahlus-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we say this is in the Yawm al-Akhirah. Yes, in this life, لن تراني, you won't be able to see Allah. ولا تدركه الأبصار. And the eyesight, our eyes can't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya. But in the next life, we're going to be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is actually going to be one of the greatest na'ims, the greatest blessings, is to be able to see our Lord. And many hadith, many verses that came about this, that we're going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Yawm al-Jum'ah, and in tafsir of even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did he mention that لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَى وَزِيَادَةً. And the Prophet ﷺ, he did tafsir of this ayah. Ziyada here is seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are all adillah of us seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that what Ahlul Bid'ah use to refute that we can't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We obviously believe in those adillah, those ayat, but that's referring to this dunya. Like we said, we're very limited in this dunya. We can only hear for maybe a couple of 100 feet, or we can only see for a couple of 100 feet. Just like, and we have to understand, just like how our five senses are limited, our aql is limited. If trying to put your aql over the naql, try and put your aql over something that's pure, that's wahi, that's perfect, which is the wahi, wallahi, you can't do it. It's not going to make sense. You have to know that your aql, just like your five senses, has limits, and we have limits. Don't ever try, and that's the shahid of this aqeedah, of Aqeedah Ahlus-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, is that we do istislam lil-nusus. We submit to the nusus, and that doesn't say we put our aql aside. No, rather we use our aql. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always tells us, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ. So many ulul albab, so many ayat that advises us to use our aql, but remember, it has its limits, it has its time and place, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His words are perfect. His sunnah, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sunnah, وما ينطق عن الهوى إن هو إلا وحي يوحى. If it's sahih, خلاص, we take it and we do istislam to it, and we submit to it, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's deen. We don't put our aql over the naql, and that's why a lot of people, they went astray, is because they done that. They put their mind, their logic over. They try to apply the limits of this life to the perfection and the limitless of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His deen. Now,
faith in what the Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, describes his Lord with. Thereafter, there is what is in the Sunnah of the Messenger of Allah.
عفوا, can you just read the last part? وهذا الباب في كتاب الله كثير.
Right. There is much on this topic in the Book of Allah. Whoever contemplates over the Qur'an, seeking guidance from it, the path of truth will be made clear to him.
And this is something. This is a very important qaida. That this topic, the guidance. First of all, guidance is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. You know, whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, there's no one that can mislead him. No one at all, because khalas, he's under the guidance, tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's under tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whoever Allah misguides because of what that person, his evilness, his arrogance, or whatever kibr that he has, لما زاغوا أزاغ الله, and نسوا الله فنسيهم. Allah, they forgot, they were heedless of Allah, so Allah made them forget themselves. So we always have to remember that guidance is in the hands of Allah. And the Qur'an, wallahi, the Qur'an is one of the greatest ways to achieve guidance. Rather, the Qur'an is the way to achieve guidance, because without the Qur'an, we won't know nothing. We won't know where to go, what to do. And there's many stories of subhanAllah that we know, and especially you guys know, and I know personally, brothers, subhanAllah, they just open the Qur'an, or sisters, they just open the Qur'an, they read a little bit. Some people, they didn't even finish Surah Al-Fatiha, and they knew this is the haqq, and khalas, I'm going to become a Muslim. You know, but this is the number one thing that stops a person from accepting Islam, accepting the truth, is arrogance. You know, arrogance is the biggest thing that hinders people, and you see this a lot. You know, reflecting on Surah Al-An'am, subhanAllah, you just or just in the Quran in general, you see, look at every single person that was talked about in the Quran in a bad way, in a negative way. You see that they have arrogance. Fir'aun, Haman, Qarun, all these people, look, Quraysh, all these evil people, they have arrogance. That was the number one thing that they all have in common, is the arrogance. In Quran, what did the Mu'allif say? He said, من تدبر القرآن طالبا للهدى. Whoever reflects on the Quran, طالبا للهدى, and reflecting on the Quran here, this is the essence of why the Quran was revealed. كتاب أنزلناه إليك مباركا يدبروا آياته, so that they can reflect on its verses. So this is the reason that the Quran wasn't just revealed for us to just, you know, put out huffaz, you know, they just memorize in the masjid and then boom, and then they're leading. Yes, they're leading salawat, but at the same time they're like smoking after they lead. And we know cases like that, similar cases, because we distinguish between tadabbur and just hifz. You know, like the Quran says, if we just take the Quran without pondering upon it, it's just like we're donkeys, just on our backs. Imagine a donkey, he's carrying on his back like $500,000 worth of gold. He doesn't know it. He has no idea. He's just walking. And this example is even more when we have the Quran on our shelf, on our bookshelf, on our table, and even in our mind as memory, and we don't benefit from it. Wallahi, may Allah forgive us for our shortcomings and reignite our connection with the Quran. So he said, من تدبر القرآن طالبا للهدى, you know, wanting, you know, expecting huda, guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's going to see that this is the way of the haqq. This is this is the path of truth. This is the path of truth, and it'll be very clear to him. SubhanAllah. But wallahi, and the biggest thing that would hinder someone is if they're arrogant. Wallahi, you can have so many ayat come to you, but if you have arrogance, wallahi, like Shaykh Al-Bani rahimahullah, he said, a sincere person, all he needs is just one dalil, one hadith or one ayah, and khalas, that's all he needs, if he's sincere. And if he's not sincere, wallahi, 100 ahadith and 100 ayat will not benefit him. You can keep giving him, but he's also not sincere. And that's why I advise the brothers, especially who give da'wah, do not waste your time with people who are just ma'anideen. Like, they're just there to argue. You know, wallahi, don't waste your time. You're better off working on someone who actually wants to learn. That's just to end it with a quick story. I remember Sheikh, our beloved Sheikh Hassan here in DFW, Sheikh Hassan Khalil. He was telling me a story one time. He gave like a talk in MSA, one of the colleges, one of the universities, and then a brother came to him, a non-Muslim, a kafir, came to him, and he said, "Oh, I read the Qur'an and it didn't really do nothing to me. Like, it didn't make me want to become a Muslim or anything." He's basically talking lowly of the Qur'an. And then another person came, a revert came to that circle where they were talking, and then he said he stepped up. He heard what the kafir was saying, and he said, "SubhanAllah, I read the Qur'an, and that's the reason why I became a Muslim." And SubhanAllah, and Shaykh Hassan, he said he told them, both of these people, he told them the ayah. He says, وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and we send down the Qur'an. It's a shifa, it's a cure, and rahmah to the believers. Shifa here means you could do shifa through physical illnesses, and also fikri, like evil thoughts and kufr thoughts and disbelief, all these shirk thoughts. The Qur'an is a cure to all these mental kufri illnesses, and also rahmah, it's a mercy to the believers. وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا, and it doesn't gain, it only gains the ظالمين, the wrongdoers, the evildoers, the kuffar, nothing except khasara, lostness, more loss to them. The same Qur'an, subhanallah. So it shows that the Qur'an is perfect, but the person coming to it, he has to come with ikhlas. Even if a kafir, wallahi, I believe a kafir, if he sincerely prays to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance, even if he doesn't mention the word Allah, he just says, "Oh Creator, if there's a Creator there, guide me to what's it." Wallahi, I believe he'll be guided if he's sincere, and the ayat will come to him, and then it's either he rejects it or he takes it. And ayat, I don't mean Quranic ayat, but signs are going to come to him, and either he's going to reject it or he's going to accept it. And the same with the Qur'an. You know, if a sincere person comes to it, whether he's a Ash'ari, whether he's a Mu'tazili, a Jahmi, a Shi'i, anything, or a Christian, he's going to either be sincere and he's going to be guided bi'idhnillah, the tawfiq of Allah, or he's going to be not sincere with it, and it's only going to gain him more loss, because khalas, it's going to be a hujjah against you now. It's going to be an evidence against you, because you looked at it and you saw the evidence, but you rejected it. So that's going to increase you only in loss. And I think we should I want to save the sunnah for next week, inshallah. If anyone has any questions. Also, another thing, wallahi, for the Qur'an, as a da'i, someone who's calling to Islam, who's teaching non-Muslims, inviting them to Islam, wallahi, we all must have a nasib of the Qur'an. We all must have a portion of the Qur'an every single day, whether it's memorizing, and that has its time, but specifically we have to have a portion, a daily wird, where we're pondering upon the Qur'an, where we're trying to study more learn more about what we're reading. Wallahi, even if it's one ayah, even if it's one page, half a page, one ayah, we have to have a nasib, a connection to the Quran. Because the point isn't to complete the Quran. Rather, the point is to seek the barakah from the Quran and to seek guidance from the Quran and tawfiq from the Quran. And wallahi, this is gonna bring nothing but goodness to your life. Even if it's just if it's hard for you, you just start with half a page or one ayah.